Yeah. Let's go. Ah. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. No drunk drivers. Is this thing on? Is this thing on? Is this thing on? No drunk drivers. Man, it's been a while. It's been a while. Every now and then, man, I just gotta. Sometimes I gotta pop out and show. Ah, I can get motivation from many places, and I just happen to get motivated by UltraCinder. Let me holler at you for a second, man. No, this is not a diss video. I just gotta tap you on your shoulders. See, let me start off first. I know you're gonna look at the subscriber count and view count. You're gonna go through all of those numbers and try to marginalize the message. But I'm here to spread wisdom, give you some game. OG to a young G, old man to a young man, things like that. Because truth be told, the numbers that really count, I got those. I do this as a hobby. I do this. It's kind of like a passion project. No flex, no diss. I'm just speaking truth. But let's get to the how did I even get here? I'll start from the beginning because everything has a starting point. I just happen to scour, I look around through social media from time to time. And I have a TikTok too. Same name, all that good stuff. And I happen to run across a gentleman, or, I didn't know who it was at first, playing a game that I grew up on. My generation, 44 years old. Proud of it. Yeah. Killer Instinct. Yes, that Ultra Cinder. He may not even see this, but I just don't want the message to get lost because I really want to talk to the youth. So this is no diss. I'm joking around. I'm doing all this other theatrics or whatever. That's just the way I rock. That's the way I get down, you know. But yeah, I just happened to run across somebody playing a game that, once again, I grew up on. So of course it got my attention, and judging by the voice and some of the language that was used, it wasn't no profanity or anything like that. But I could tell, or I just came to come to the conclusion that it is a young black man. And it reached me because if I grew up in his generation, that's probably something that I would do. I would probably invest in it a lot more than what I do now. So I'm like, yeah, man, let me check him out. Let me check him out. Fast forward till today. I subscribed or whatever it is you do on TikTok to show. I think it's follow. And I just happen to be looking at TikTok today. I don't get on TikTok much. And lo and behold, Killer Instinct popped up on my screen. And it was Ultra Cinder. So I'm checking it out. I had time to burn, just relaxing, chilling, seeing what's out there. And I'm just, once again, nostalgia grabbed me and took a hold of me because it's a game that I grew up playing. And just like how I always do, I don't spread negativity, I don't hate, I don't do any of those things that someone may label as being counterintuitive, you know, to somebody's goal. If anything, I'm somebody who contributes to someone's goals. I give motivation. And this is how it started. I'm enjoying myself. I'm watching the video. Pause, enjoying myself. Pause. Hold on, hold on. Pause. That's the key word of today's. This is how this all started. Pause. So I'm enjoying the video. UltraCinder takes a break and he pauses the game. I'm in the comment section. All I said was, and I'm just paraphrasing, but it could be an exact quote. It was something to the effect of like, man, what I said, man, it's lucky to have a pause because I remember. No, I said something like, hey, it's lucky. I'm paraphrasing. It's convenient or lucky to have a pause instead of instead of not being able to pause and getting beat by the opponent. It's something like that. I don't know. It's something along those lines. I can't quote it exactly, but that's basically what I wrote in the comment section. And then I believe it's a moderator or a top contributor. They respond with "Nah, NAW." I remember that part. I didn't see that until later on. So I'm continuing to watch the video, and then I see the same moderator go, "Yeah, I don't know what dude talking about. He weird or something like that." And then Ultra Center goes on and on this I don't want to call it a rant, but basically he was just talking like somebody was hating in the chat. Like, oh man, I don't like when, I don't know why people come over here with all that negativity and all that negative energy. They they should have something better to do with their time. They don't have nothing else better to do but to come over here and hate. We do nothing but positivity over here. Uh that just let me know that they're not happy with themselves. They must not have a good life. I mean, he's going in that fashion. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And you were going, he just kept going in. And then I'm reading the chat and they're championing his comments. And so after about 30 seconds of the gentleman berating, lo and behold, it was me. I'm looking in the comments and I'm trying to find some context. Like, okay, who is he talking to? Who's hating? Because the whole time I'm reading, I didn't see anything that can be labeled as hating or negative. And Ultra Sender is just continuing on. Yeah, that's that just lets you know that they're not happy with them in themselves. Man, you took the words out of my mouth. I was about to go in on a rant. I was about to go in on them, but I just went on ahead and let them slide. And then I'm looking at them like somebody saying something like, "Yeah, man, don't mind them goofies." I mean, they just going in, and all I did was comment saying it's good to have a pause. And I can say I'm paraphrasing. It's good to have a pause button uh instead of not having pause and getting slaughtered. Mind you, the amount of characters you can use to write in the comment section is about 30 characters or a little give or take. And they just going in. So finally I go, man, let me verify if they're just they're going in on your boy. Because that's not what I'm about. And so I wrote, are my comments being read out of context? Just making sure. Like I said, I'm paraphrasing. And then the moderator, his name is Ryder, by the way. I remember his name because I'll let you know why. Uh, he goes, "Yeah, watch what you say when you come in here, or we gonna kick you out and block you." And I'm like, "What? Watch what you say." I didn't say anything, and I'm like, What did I say that's hating?" Yeah, and then some lady, she goes in. Yeah, watch what you say. We don't tolerate that foolishness. You being weird. So I'm like, what the is going on here? I'm about to say, what the fuck is going on here? All I did was click on the video and comment on the pause button. The pause button. That's it. Or being able to pause during video games instead of letting CPU beat you. That's it. And so I go, what is hating about my comment? And then I continue. I said, let me explain. So I wrote, all what I meant was pause versus not having a pause and letting CPU automatically beat you, or letting CPU beat you in a game. So that's when the moderator was like, "Oh, okay, my bad, but still watch your mouth when you come in here." And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, man, they still on this energy. So then I wrote, I'm still trying to clear it up. This is mind boggling to me. And then I wrote, I'm 44 years old. The game that you're playing is from my generation, my childhood. I grew up on this. Nobody's hating. Old heads talk differently than you all. And I put LOL. And then I remember, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Ultra Center goes, yeah, man. That's what makes it worse, man. They don't have no life. They up in here, whatever, blah blah blah, and he's still going on. Oh man, that drove me hot because that's not what I'm about. I know it's a frivolous interaction situation, but it led me to, you know what? I've been wanting to do a video like this, and that's why I titled it "Message to the Youth." And it got me going down many different lanes. Hopefully, I don't go too long, but your boy, I go in on videos, and this is not a diss or anything like that, but it's an opportunity to turn this into a learning lesson. And what it did, it shown me that there is a communication gap between, the elder generation and the younger generation, and also conflict resolution, how it's we don't have that nowadays. So with the slang, that's a gap in communication with the young and the old. So that part. And then conflict resolution, which is the greater point. Because if shoe was on the other foot and somebody said something to me that I didn't understand, or maybe I took it as a diss, and I know it was unwarranted, the first thing I would do, and this is where, I'm getting into the deep stuff. Like I said, man, shout out to you, Ultra Sender. Keep doing your thing. Seem to be a young, positive black man. Uh, so I'm just using this interaction to really talk to the youth. So if let's say shoe was on the other foot, and I'm someone who, I felt I was being disrespected, what I would do and what I would implore the younger generation to do is to get clarity, because you never know how things can turn out, especially in the real world. this happens to be the internet, but it does carry over into the real world, basically how you interact. A part of you is still that person who interacts online, whether that's a character or not. I don't know the percentage of you that's in that, but it's still a part of you. And so I know when I'm on here, conflict resolution and in real life, that's just how I rock. And I would implore the youth to practice or try to incorporate that within your communication language, because the way you all responded initially, that was, you took it to the top. And so if this was a real time, real life situation, at that point, the initial subject matter of pause versus not pause, which is frivolous, minute, small, that was thrown out the window. Now we're in a lane of disrespect. And so I consider myself to be a man of principle, morale, high character, high value. And I was like, man, those words struck me to the core, because that's the last thing that I would do, being an elder statesman, is to try to discourage or put negativity on a younger person who I can identify with, younger person who's playing video games. I'm a gamer myself. That's why I came out with the anime Vegeta, and I'm showing the Ultra Instinct music and all that stuff. So I'm still tapped in. You're a younger version of myself. I do this as a passion. Like I said, the numbers that count, and this is no diss or anything to anybody else or even to you. I have those. I'll just leave it at that. So this is just something that I do to spread wisdom. It's a passion project, because I like to do it. That's it. Um, but yeah, conflict resolution, man. That's something that I would, yeah, that's something that you need to put in your bag, because there's and I see this a lot, especially with the younger generation when they're talking to elders. They become quite dismissive. See, what you need to understand is not all old folk or old heads want to talk down on you just because you're doing something that they cannot identify with. I understand that perspective because we went through it with rap music in my age generation. They, oh, y'all listen to that nonsense or whatever. Now rap music is multi-billion-dollar industry. Uh and so the benefit of being able to show grace and also have conflict resolution is that you may receive some type of jewels. You may receive jewels from somebody. They may want to contribute to your goal. I'm a potential contributor. I contribute to people's goals. I do that from time to time just out of the goodness of my heart, right? Just out of the goodness of my heart. And not having conflict resolution, all that does is it unnecessarily escalate interactions, and it can lead to other things. There's nothing good that comes out of not having conflict resolution. And so I like to speak on core values because that is a core value that I have within my system, my bag, that can translate into relationships, conflict resolution, whether it's with your friends, whether you're at the job, whether it's with your significant other. Working on core values such as conflict resolution, it will lead it'll what I want to say. It will benefit you in the long run. See these things up here, it's not just for decoration. I know people like to say I'm bragging. See this right here? This is army. I had to exercise patience, you know, discipline. Also, conflict resolution, attention to detail, learning how to work with others, and looking at the big picture. See that? What do they call that? That tassel? Yeah, it's a college degree. Got two of those. And there's other stuff that I had up here. I need to. This is my cousin right here. He writing a book. He wrote a book. So I'm someone who like to spread positivity. Oh yeah, this is a medal. I'm saying I got them everywhere. This from the military. What is this? For military achievement. Yeah, it's right here. I'm someone who stay goal orientated. And so when you did that, I ain't gonna lie, man, I felt a certain way. I'm like, come on, bruh. I'm just over here, having a good time just like everybody else. It didn't have to go left. Um, so yeah, man, it may not be to you. You may not even see it. But if my message to the youth is to exercise conflict resolution and also grace. Grace as in when you're interacting with another human, you never know what they're going through, for one. Two, you always want to look at the big picture because since you don't know what they're going through, the ultimate goal is to make it back home. I know why you responded in that fashion because it is the wild, wild west, especially in the internet, but it's also the wild, wild west in the real world. Going unhinged, it's not going to uh, be conducive to any type of achievement. Going unhinged, it's never going to end well. So that'll be my message to the youth. Like I said, I'm doing this off the dome. This is just straight off the dome. I don't have no notes or anything like that. I know it's gonna be easy, like I said, to marginalize. Throw it away. You're gonna look at the subscriber count. You're gonna look at the view count. You're gonna do all of that stuff, but not pay attention to the message. Show some grace. Oh, and this is another thing before I end. This is another thing. I can't help but wonder that because a lot of people like to operate under anonymous, and I'm not that type of person. As you can see on my profile, I show my real face and I have my real name. And because people like to operate under this anonymous character or profile, I get it. They do come with all type of vitriol and negative comments or anything like that. But no, you see somebody with a real face, real name, that kind of lets you know, like, hey, man, whatever I say, I have to stand on business. But also just know that you never know who you never know who is online. You're in the business of gaining followers, not eliminating followers, gaining. What you have is you might as well say is a business. It's a business that has to be sustained by continuity. You need those followers, you need people to donate, you need people to contribute almost like a subscription base in order to stay afloat. And looking at the numbers, you've done a great job. But you can't stop because the business needs to keep going. So the last thing that you need to do is turn away somebody who could be a potential contributor. And last, before I get out of here, just try to broaden your horizon. Understand that you're operating in a lane that I don't know. I mean, all I can see is something from my generation, my age group, my generation, my age group. That's my game. You know what I'm saying? That's the game that I grew up on. So of course it's going to get my attention because of the nostalgia. And to the young lady that was in the chat, she just kept on like, "What are y'all doing?" I don't understand the comprehension, and that's the part that I still don't understand why the comprehension or the lack thereof uh and why can you continue on with the negativity? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. This is what I wanted to get on, and this was the last thing. That's why I was mentioning about my profile, and I'm showing my real face, real name. What I want to warn you all, and this is just a message to the youth. This face right here, it comes with uh a lot. When they see you, they judge you. When they see you, a lot of times society has painted you all and myself as being negative, just out of our face. And so when I met with that, with someone who presumed to look like me, I'm thinking we could have, we wouldn't be judging each other by that. The benefit of the doubt, the grace. That's what I was mentioning earlier. Because we do, it's somebody who looks like me, but yet it goes 0 to 10. And that comes from, whether you know this or not, uh, there is let me see, an enemy. I'm not sure how to put it, but it's done on purpose to divide us. Division, divided we fall, together we stand. So that's done on purpose. So especially with the black male figure, there is an attack. And one day you're going to be the older black man, eventually maybe trying to give game, give wisdom to the youth, to inform them about the potential pitfalls that they may incur while they're traveling and going through this thing called life, right? So that's just something to think about. That's just something to think about, man. I'm not your enemy. People who look like you are not your enemy. Like I said, I'm not sure where all that came from, but I just wanted to clear that up. And it's nothing personal. It just gave me motivation to make a video because hey, it is time consuming, and I'm not even a professional streamer, and I know that the type of work and the type of time it takes to put out quality projects. I just don't do it enough. So shout out to you, man. Kudos to you. This is no diss. Chill. Show your boy some grace. All it was me talking about and comparing being able to pause the game versus not being able to pause a game. That was it. I know the slang language of pause nowadays. I understand that, but I did clarify that, and it seemed like y'all kept going on as if I'm just some old head in the chat being negative, and like you were alluding to, having no life and all this other stuff. I'm like, man, this dude really going in on your boy. No mercy. And you read it. You can't say you didn't have time or I don't see the comments, because you definitely commented on that shit. But you didn't see or comment on the clarification. Although one of your moderators caught it and he did say, my bad, but he just kept the same energy. So just I'm just throwing it out there. And if I'm wrong and I'm going over the top, now you see how that feels, especially if you're not trying to, if you're not cut from that cloth of being someone who doesn't have an understanding, who does not show grace, or who may look at other people who look like them as the enemy. You see how I just went over the top? It doesn't make you feel good. You can brush it off, but if somebody label you with that, it does not make you feel good, right? So it's the same thing. But shout out to you, man. Keep doing your thing. I just wanted to share that little tidbit, and that's my message to the youth. Show some grace. Incorporate conflict resolution. It'll take you a long way. It'll take you a long way. I'm 44 years old, and I've seen some things throughout my time, and a lot of situations that people have found themselves into could have been avoided if they would have shown conflict resolution. People get locked up for lack of conflict resolution. That's a serious thing. I know it's just, and I like to expound on small situations because I like to use small situations. That way, it's nothing very sensitive or something that one cannot get over, and you can use that as a teaching lesson. All right, I think that's it. But yeah, man. I mean, you got your good squad. They riding for you, pause. I know, right? Pause. No, but they on your side. Just tone it down a little bit, and you can actually expand your your fan base by acknowledging the old heads because you're in an old head lane, whether you know it or not. That game was in 1995. I was what 14 years old. I owned the original time it came out, playing the game. Favorite character was probably Fogor and Cinder, but I think it was Fogor. Yeah. So I mean, it's hey man, it's my youth. My bad. My apologies. But it's nothing to apologize about as far as offending because it was simply a misunderstanding. So hopefully you all were entertained, you all were enlightened, and you learned something from this. I'm gonna keep saying that. Conflict resolution, bruh. Show some grace. Like I said, you never know who you're running into. Don't, and you have a lot of numbers. Look at my small numbers, right? My small numbers, and I've reached a lot of people just with my small numbers. Just with my small numbers, a lot of people, a lot. You never know how you can affect somebody when you're in the public eye. People have even wrote me stuff about how I prevented them from committing suicide. Facts. Stuff like that. That's why I keep going. I don't do it for the money. I don't monetize. I've never tried to monetize because I like to speak freely. Right. But that's it though, man. I don't want to keep going on. I will expound on this on another video because I think that's something that the youth can benefit, and also the old heads such as myself can, maybe they can better their communication when talking to the youth. But just understand that there is a communication barrier, communication gap. Some of the words that we use, it may be deemed as disrespectful to the youth. So I understand that. But you gotta understand some of the words that you use can be disrespectful to the old heads. You never know who's watching. Somebody could throw you a bone. I've thrown many a bones. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, bro. I throw some bones. But anyway, that's it, man. I'm out of here. I'm rambling. It's 2 some in the morning. It's late night. Me running my mouth. That's it. So it's all good, man. We'll run across each other again. You probably ain't gonna remember me, but I damn sure remember you. Cause you went yeah, you went ham on your boy, man. You went ham on your boy, man. That is not what I'm about. That's not what I'm about, man. Nah, I gotta clear my name of that jacket. But nah, anybody else who's seeing this, go check out that boy UltraCinder. He's on TikTok. He do great content. Go check him out. He playing that Killer Instinct, dope game, dope commentary, all that stuff, dope visuals. He got a cool setup. All right. I think that's it, man, young woman, chill, relax, show some grace. Always get clarity. Get clarity. That's it. Just get some clarity before you go to 10. Because when you go to 10, things can go left. You just never know how it's going to turn out. And I strongly believe that's one of the reasons why I'm still here. Not because I'm running, not because I'm ducking fades, but just for clarity. And you will see that a lot of people don't even want to smoke. But anyway, I think that's it, man. I'm doing all this rambling because I'm trying to figure out how to end the stream. Yeah, they keep changing stuff on your boy, man. That's another thing about getting older. Technology always changes, and it makes you look a certain way when you're trying to do stuff. All right. Where the hell is that button? In the meantime, I'm just gonna start singing. Grab and grab till I get out of here. In the turning lane. And I gotta maintain. Oh, I found it. Cause the law's behind me. I'm trying to ease the game. I know I need a change. I need to rescore again. Hit me on 400 in May.